What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Love and Rice Podcast with your host, Aunt Ma.
I'm your other host, Christina.
And if you guys are new to this channel and podcast, make sure you guys subscribe and follow us. We are on all podcast platforms. We are on Apple, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, Spotify, also YouTube, and
Instagram, TikTok. We're all over the place, but welcome.
yes, welcome to the new listeners and welcome to everyone who's been listening to all of our stuff. Thank you. On today's episode, this is oh man, why are we wearing the same colors?
I changed first, so
I changed first.
Nope, I was already dressed when you went upstairs to change.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't see you because I was kind of busy working.
Right. That always happens.
Well, this is what happens, guys, when you have been married for 12 long years. We start dressing the same with the same colors.
Yeah, I feel like that happens a lot. But I mean, mine's is kind of more pink. Yours is like more on the purple mauve side.
Okay, but it's still in the same area
And yeah.
of the color scale.
Yes. Yeah, great
So,
minds think alike.
If you guys haven't noticed, just by looking at our shirts, we have been married for 12 years. 12 freaking years.
Yep.
What
That's
is-
insane. That's a long
what is it-
time if you
how
really
come-
think about it.
It is. How come your reaction's like, yeah?
Well,
Like you don't like it or what?
no, it's just when you think about it, it's so long. But also, I also have a headache as usual. So
Wait,
it's not that I don't
why-
like thinking about us being married for so long. It's just this.
Why do you have a headache when you got a piercing on your ear to relieve headaches? Or so that was your reason of getting that piercing?
I got my date pierced a few days ago, and it was a very spur of the moment thing. We went to Utah for my nephew and niece's birthday party, and my sister's spin studio, they decided to have someone come in, and they're doing a little like piercing party. And
Piercing party?
yeah.
There's a party?
I mean, it was just like to have people come in. It was kind of like a group event.
Oh.
But yeah, basically, I've been researching getting piercings for the longest time to try to help with migraines. I know it's not scientifically proven, but there are claims that like the daith piercing helps with migraines, and also the conch, which is kind of like the harder part of the ear. I don't know if you can see it, but I was between the two. I went with this one. And this headache that I have, it's probably because I have like neck pain. I slept the wrong way, so usually when that happens, it's kind of connected, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
But when you said you get this piercing over here, it's
Yeah.
going to relieve all that.
It's
And then
supposed to trigger
it's
like
been-
a pressure point.
It's been a couple of days and you already have a headache, huh?
I had
So
a
it's
headache
not
before I
working.
got the piercing, and then it hasn't hurt since. It's
Yeah.
been like 4 days.
So
Yeah.
after 12 years of marriage, I thought that I would stop hearing excuses, but
For
you know,
what?
of approvals. You didn't need my approval to get that stuff. You just get it because you liked it. You don't have to justify because it's for so I don't get headaches and yada yada yada.
Yeah, well, but I was just bringing it up because a lot of people talk about this, and I really want to try to see if it's going to help. And my headache is also because of not getting enough sleep. So I want to just see like if it'll help on a regular basis. Like one thing I'm going to test out is when I get my period. That's usually when it gets super triggered. So if it helps with that, then I'll let you guys know. I'll update you and let you know if it works.
In my younger years, when I had my tongue pierced, it was also to relieve headaches.
Really? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it relieves a girl's headaches.
You're so dumb.
I'm just kidding.
This is what happens when you've been married for a long time. These like lame dad jokes don't trigger you.
That wasn't a
I'm
dad
just
joke.
kidding. I mean,
Ew.
it was kind of. I mean, it was a weird like. No comment.
Oh
Yes.
man. Well, this is what's cool about. I guess I don't know if it's because we've been married 12 years or is it because we do the podcast, but we get to talk a lot about our past where things are really uncomfortable and it's funny now. You know what I mean? Like maybe if I said that, you know, in year 1 or something, you'd be like, I don't want to hear stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because
right?
I don't know you enough yet.
Right. But then like
I would judge you so hard.
12 years later when you hear that, like what's your thoughts? Are
Yeah,
you-
that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, not dad jokes, but like, you know,
It's-
if you have lame jokes, I can take it and I won't take offense to it because I'm like, you're just being dumb.
Yeah, that's
Like, I
exactly what it
won't-
was.
yeah.
It was definitely a joke. Like not even at that time, it wasn't even like that. You know?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Or it's like if I was irritated with you and annoyed with you, like mid relationship, then it would bother me. But now I'm just like, I'm used to you. You're just dumb.
Yeah. All right. So, on the topic of being married for 12 years, 12 years later, my wife still never said yes to our marriage. So when we got engaged and I, got down on one knee, she never said yes. Till this day, she has never said yes.
I'm pretty sure I have, and it was probably like indirectly or something. Or every time you called me out on it, I'm
No.
like, "Well,
Is-
we got married, right?
Isn't
Like,
that the
isn't that
weirdest?
enough to say yes?"
But isn't that the weirdest thing though? Like, it still haunts me every day.
Oh my gosh, shut up! Isn't an I do pretty much like a saying yes to
It is,
being married?
but it's just the fact that I never got that yes. It's like I always go back to that day, and it's like, how come I never even asked for a clarified answer? Because I was also in the moment. So let's back it up. Let's back it up. Let's talk about how it all happened.
So basically, we took a trip to Hawaii because I just graduated from school.
Was that like the idea was the present? 'Cause you
Yeah.
graduated college.
Yeah, I would like to celebrate because I got my bachelor's degree. And then like we were just, I don't know, it was just like a silly trip, and I think I was so caught off guard by the time that you proposed to me because we're like at, I don't know, there's this little, what is it called? It's not a pier. It's like rocks that go into the water, and we're just standing there and taking like really goofy pictures and stuff. And then we're joking about something, and then you were like, "Oh, well, what if I asked you to marry me?" And then you got down on your knees, and then we're just like joking about stuff. And I was like, "Am I getting punked?" I was like, "Is this real?" And this is the time when like punked was a huge thing too on TV. And I don't know, I think it's because we were joking around so much about stuff and being so goofy. Like I wasn't expecting it to be like that.
Well, I wasn't either. So like you forgot to mention all the stuff that happened leading up to that moment, because I spent the whole day with you
Yeah.
trying to propose at different places that we were throughout the day. And so I had the whole planned out speech of being sweet and romantic. And every time I was about to do it, like we were at the Diamond Head hike
Right.
where you hike this mountain and you get to overlook the whole Waikiki beach of Hawaii, and it's really, really beautiful. And I was going to get down on one knee and do it there. And every time, I got the courage to start my speech or say that I was about to get down on one knee, tourists would come around me and I would get,
You got nervous.
I would get nervous and I wouldn't do it, right? And that would happen like 5 or 6 times throughout the hike. So by the time we left the hike, I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen today.
Yeah.
Right?
And I remember looking
And-
at you one time too while we're hiking because you're being so weird, and I was just like, okay. But I never thought that you were gonna propose. I
Well,
was
yeah,
just
you
like,
would
"Oh,
never
you're so
know."
strange. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, now we're supposed to go eat lunch and we're like, let's go walk down the beach to go grab lunch.
Oh yeah.
And then when I saw the spot with the rocks that leads out to the ocean, I was like, let's just go walk there. And in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe I can do it here.
Yeah.
Right. So now when we're like taking photos and doing casual stuff and overlooking this ocean, I just did it right there. So like
Yeah.
it was a complete shock for you and for me too, where it's like, all right, I guess this is happening. And the speech was no longer there.
Yeah, there was no speech at all. That's why there was nothing leading up to it. So I was just so caught off guard.
Yeah.
It's just like, huh? And then I think that's all you said too, right? I don't think
No,
did you say anything afterwards? Because
I'm-
it was all a blur after that.
I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, after 6 tries, like the speech is out the window.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, well, what if we get married type of thing. I did get down on one knee.
Yeah.
I did show the ring, but I don't remember what happened after I popped the
that's
box.
what I'm saying. It was a blur
right?
after that.
I popped the
don't even know what
box.
happened.
And between that and hugging you, that was like I blacked out probably.
That's so
You know?
funny because I can remember leading up to it happening and then you getting down on your knee and asking like, "Oh, so what if I propose to you?" And after that, I don't remember.
Yeah,
Is that crazy?
Well, I remember hug,
Yeah.
kiss, and then pictures after that. But I don't remember in
The
the moment.
conversation.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You know what I mean?
That's so.
I just
interesting.
remember you never said yes, like verbally.
Well, I don't know. I think
Well,
yeah, like maybe I did and we both blurred it out because I know I didn't remember what happened, but to hear that you don't remember anything after that,
like
that's
I don't even remember
crazy.
how it went down. And so was it like I got on one knee, popped the box, you you're shocked, and I put the ring on you, and then it was hug? Like what
Maybe.
happened?
Maybe. I'm guessing yes. And then after that I remember us that whole moment right there is a
Yeah.
blur. But after that I remember us going to go eat lunch and then I took a picture and then I sent it to my family and then I posted it and everything and
Yeah.
I mean isn't that should be a confirmation of a yes, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, now like X amount of years later, and it gets in your head, and you're like, huh, did I force this marriage? She never
No.
said yes,
So
and
technically I could have said yes and we both just don't remember
yeah,
apparently.
maybe,
Yeah,
huh?
right?
I don't remember my wife said
I wonder
yes.
what it is that triggers that because it's kind of like when you drink and you black out, right? Or like if you get so angry that you black out, like were we just so excited that we just kind of blacked out in a way,
So nervous.
right? Something
Yeah,
too much of an adrenaline rush, I think.
because we didn't have any alcohol or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, wow. But yeah, I mean, apparently I said yes because we've been married for 12 years.
Yeah.
So
How's it been for you being married 12 years?
I would say it's been a great experience, but also being married can be very challenging too.
Yes.
So I mean, with anything, with a relationship, friendship, whatever it is, like there are a lot of high points and there are a lot of low points as well.
Okay, so what is the best part about being married for 12 years?
Um, I think the best part of being married for 12 years is it's all of the experiences that we've had and I think just the life that we've built together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like we've gone through a lot of hard times, but we've stuck by each other's side and kind of seeing like the outcome of all of that hard work that we put into the relationship and like seeing that we have like two beautiful kids, we have a nice house, we we're stable, you
Yeah.
know? So just knowing that all that hard work has paid off in a sense.
I think there's two paths in the marriage, right? There's like the one with a significant other that grows with the family and everything that happens, right? And then there's the other path that happens to you individually, and it also grows, right? And what's great about the 12-year marriage is that you want both paths to grow together, but then at times the individual path is each person's own speed,
Yeah.
and I think that is actually the hardest part about the marriage is that, because you can grow so fast and I'm not moving, and then I can grow so fast and then you're not moving, and that is like the hardest part about it
Yeah,
all.
and I think that's what tests relationship the most because it really just depends on how the other person views it and how supportive you can be. So it's like being put in those situations and feeling like you're not on the same page but trying to like work through it, which is the hard part.
Yeah.
But I think we've been married this long and like we don't want to kill each other so far, so I feel like it's
I mean, we did at one point,
yeah.
and I think here's something that I've learned. Being married for a decade long, um, the love always changes.
Mhm.
It's always going to be hard. It's always going to be challenging, like you said. And there's always going to be that one time where it's going to test everything,
Yes.
you know?
Was that a burp? Did you just wow?
I didn't even burp. It's just my throat made noise.
Okay.
Like,
It
I
took
was
me a while
about
to even notice what happened.
I was
there.
about to talk, and then I was like, I felt some air, and all of a sudden the
It
back
just
of my
came
throat
out.
just made
Did you
air.
guys hear that? That was kind of funny. RJ, leave that in.
I felt like a dinosaur or something.
Like a frog.
I don't know what that was, but okay. So wait, what were we talking about?
I got so distracted by your throat.
I don't even know I could feel that part of my throat.
Yeah, I don't know what
It's like
that was.
something hit the back. It was just air going.
Mm,
I don't know. You never felt something hit the back of your throat?
nope.
I mean, we could try.
They're so dumb.
What? All right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, okay. So we were talking about paths. The best part.
Don't mind us. This is our second video that we shot today, and after taking care of the kids, so we're gonna be a little delirious.
No, we're not.
This is. I'm getting close to it. I
Oh
feel
my
it.
gosh. No. Okay.
Okay.
So
On a serious note.
what I've learned through if you're married for more than a decade, um, you know, when we talk about love changes, for me, um, it's what it's all the things that they talk about in relationships, right? There's a honeymoon phase, and then this and that and that. I don't know what they call it after that, but
Oh my gosh.
but basically,
Jeez.
the girls are always thinking about the honeymoon phase. You never used to do this, or you used to always be like this to me, and stuff like that, right? But the love changes into something more, where it's like it's not just about physical attraction at the very beginning, how it used to be in like you have sex 10 times a day. Then it grows into something more meaningful, where it's like I love the way she does this. I love what she's doing with her life right now. I love the way she's taking care of her kids for us. I love what she's doing for me. So the love is constantly changing, but it's still love, if you
Yes.
get what I mean.
I get it because there's so many other ways of loving someone, but you also have to remember when you're in a relationship, and I feel like a lot of couples are very in tune with this, but it's just remembering to love your partner in their love language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cuz it's like it's good to know that you're appreciated for all of the things that you do, and at the same time it can mean something to you just to know that your partner appreciates everything that you do, but knowing and being shown that are completely different things.
I think what I was trying to say was that there's different sparks in the love.
Right.
So, for example, before, if you were to be in front of me and take off your clothes, that's a spark in the beginning, right?
Mhm.
And it still is now. I'll still get sparked. But what also sparks me are other things that get added on, like something that you did in front of me
Right.
that I was like, wow, I love her so much for that,
Oh, got it. Yeah.
right? So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and yeah, just piggybacking off of that, I feel like in relationships, like that's great and it's nice to be appreciated, but a lot of the times it's kind of like having to the saying actions speak louder than words, right?
Right.
So it's like someone can say something to you and I can tell you how much I appreciate you, but I think it's important within a marriage, especially, to take that extra step to like physically show them something. Because, a lot of us, we're all visual learners, right? So it's kind of like you have to see something to be able to feel it rather than just someone telling you something.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like that's an important thing in relationships. And I feel like in most marriages, actually, that women need that reassurance. And I found that out in our relationship too. It's like you say all these things and yes, I appreciate it, but like if you went that extra step to show me like physically or to be more affectionate, and I'm not saying like as much as you were in the beginning of the relationship, but if men like do that here and there to show their women just how much they appreciate them, like I think that would take the marriage even further. Because I feel like a lot of marriages go through this like I don't know this phase in their marriage because of that specifically, because there's like a lack of showing appreciation and a lack of showing affection. Yeah, that's what I've learned.
No, that's totally, absolutely right. Um, that's just why I said being married for 12 years, it is. I don't think it gets any easier. It only gets harder. It's like having kids.
That sounds
Having
horrible.
having kids just gets harder. You know what I mean? Like it's never easy. You think it does, but yeah, there's more things to maneuver around, right? And the reason why I say it gets harder is because there's more things in between us, and that's why it gets harder, right?
There's
So
more obstacles. You're throwing in kids, you're throwing in bills, you're throwing in more responsibilities
yeah, new challenges.
where you can't focus on the relationship as much as you could before prior to having all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I don't know. You can never compare year 12 to year 1
Of course
because
not. Yeah.
year 1, your responsibility level with yourself is like at the lowest of your life. You know, and now our responsibility level is so high, and it's completely different. So it's not, you can't compare that apples to apples. But I would say that one thing that I learned about being married this long is whenever we are out in public, we are talking to people or whatever, we need to always, okay, this is for everybody that's listening, we need to always um, speak highly of our significant other and be positive about them. Um, and we spoke about this on an episode when you said something about when you talk to friends about your spouse and then
Mm-hmm.
they start having a different, uh, I don't know, imaginary vision about them.
Yeah, because you're supposed to present yourself as a team in
Right.
public, right? No matter what kind of differences you have in the relationship. Because if you're talking to your relatives or to friends about the relationship and you're like bashing on your significant other,
Mm-hmm.
even though you might get through that hump of the relationship and be like on the best terms ever,
Mm-hmm.
that other person will still have that perception of, well, but did you guys work on this,
Yeah.
but is he still doing that,
They're always gonna think, but didn't they do this to you?
yeah, and
Right.
it's harder for them to get over it because they're not in the relationship as directly as you are, obviously.
So I guess that leads to two different points. Of one is like, um, yeah, they're not in the conversations of seeing the things change and adjust, right? So they're always thinking about what you said about your significant other. And then the other thing is, what is the difference between presenting us as a great team in public and faking it in public? Because some people will take that the wrong way, and there are differences.
Yeah, I think just not saying too much, right? I think nowadays people are starting to understand that they're putting out too much about their personal lives, like on social media and letting people in too much, if you know what
Well,
I'm
I
saying.
mean, this is kind of what they're saying about social media, right? That like on Instagram, they only show the good parts. They don't show
Mm-hmm.
the bad parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's fake, is what they're saying. But actually, it's we want to show people that we do have a strong bond, no matter the private things we go through,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not for everybody to see. And there are times when there's a reason why the old school way works. You know what I mean? Like all the old school parents and marriages have dealt with that, right?
Yeah.
Keeping a lot of things
It was
private,
very
right?
sacred.
But
Yeah.
when they go out, they are together.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of the new age where on social media, that is how we present it the same way.
Right. But then I guess also it's like if you show the bad parts of it, yes, there's pros and cons to that because you're letting people know that yes, our relationship's not perfect and we go through the same things that you guys do too, and we're human. But at the same time, there when you let people in too much, there are people who are just watching you who may not know you personally that want to see like your downfall. And then that's when
Right.
people are talking so much about like the evil eye now and stuff. So it's like
Right.
if people know too much about your relationship, they could be wanting to feel the fire and add
Right.
to it.
Here's what it is. I think it's fake when you guys are in a bad moment and posting something good.
Yes.
That's what's fake.
Yep.
But when you're in a good time and posting good times, obviously that's how it should be done, right?
Yeah.
Not like you're going through about to go through a divorce and you guys are posting like, kissing pictures and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's the part that people have to understand who watch others' content. That is like the fake part.
Yeah. It's like if your relationship is coming to an end, but you still try to post as if nothing is wrong.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think it's great that people show them as a good team. So yeah, that is the one thing I've learned over the 12 years is, I am proud of my wife and proud of everything you do. And I love you and love everything that you do. And so that is how I want to show you off to the world every time. When people,
Was that a burp?
that one was, that one was, sorry. We just had lunch before filming this. My bads. No, so like, I don't know, like when we go out to a dinner with friends and stuff, and they ask, "Oh, how are you guys doing?" I'm only gonna say the good stuff. There's
Yeah.
no reason to make it a party pooping situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's for everybody, not even just for the marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think also it's like it shows your character as well when you keep bashing on other people to
Mm,
people. They're gonna kind of view you as like, well, if I'm not with you and I tell you my personal things, are you gonna be going around talking about me and bashing me to other people?
that's true.
Yeah. So
That's true. Um, how does a marriage evolve? Like, how did you see ours evolving and to what it was from then to now?
how has it
Ha,
evolved?
yeah. What's different between year 1 and year 12 in terms of our dynamic?
I mean, that's kind of hard to say because the first year to like the current moment, obviously going to be very different because you go through that honeymoon phase in the beginning, and I would say we're like the complete opposite of the honeymoon phase right now because we've
Yeah,
been together for so long.
but I feel like we are at the strongest bond right now. Right? Like right now, nothing can really destroy us. We will get in fights, we will argue, but we will still always be very tight.
Yeah, so I think we've gone through a lot of rough patches in our relationship where we wanted to kill each other, where we were, I don't know, even considering like not being together right in
Right.
that moment just because we couldn't deal with the issues that we had. But I would say from those times compared to now, um, me as a person, I feel like I've evolved in the way where I try not to hold grudges as
Mm,
much anymore because for a long while I would hold on to things and hold on to a lot of resentment over
mm.
things that have happened, all the changes that have happened throughout the marriage. But I've just learned that you can't resent your partner for things. And you just have to be able to talk about stuff.
Well, yeah, if you hold on to things and this is what I mentioned in the last episode is that the world doesn't stop moving,
Right.
right? Everything moves forward.
Mm-hmm.
Your spouse moves forward, your kids, life. And so when you hold grudges, there is no room for self growth.
Yeah, and I think at one point too throughout the marriage, I just stopped wanting to deal with any kind of confrontation. So
Yeah.
if I had any issues, I would keep it to myself, and then the resentment would start building up and it
Mm,
would just be in my head, but I wasn't doing anything about it to fix the relationship. It was more of
mm,
like me getting more angry and bitter and disassociating myself with you.
yeah.
And like it was to the point where it was almost like I just didn't care,
Yeah.
right? So as time went on, I was just like, well, me doing this is not helping the marriage at all. And for the longest time, I'm like, I'm just not going to speak on things when something bothers me because like I just didn't want to deal with getting into a fight.
Right.
But now I'm just like, that doesn't help the marriage, and maybe that's why you feel that it's more stronger now, because I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what, I don't care anymore. Like if something bothers me or if there's something in the back of my mind that I need to get off of my chest, I'm just going to say it so that we can
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. And I feel like you've evolved in that sense too, in the way that you have been trying to be more calm in conversations that we have, trying not to be confrontational, trying not to raise our voices, and just trying to have like a deeper, more meaningful conversation without feeling like we're being attacked.
Well, here's the thing when something happens that bothers you and you speak upon it right away, it's a small thing, even though
Yes,
like it means
yes,
a lot, but it's a small thing. So if you hold on to something and never say it, it gets bigger and bigger, bigger till it blows
yes,
up.
exactly.
And that becomes a big problem. But as you confront the small issue at the beginning, then it doesn't seem like it's that serious. It's just something to talk about and and to understand each other. So that's why I feel like we are a lot stronger at year 12
Yeah.
because now when we talk about the little things, it's handled in a minute. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
but I will say, depending on how emotions are, which I think we've learned to control our emotions more. But if it's to the point where everyone is so heated and so angry, and you're very close to saying something that you don't want to say because you might offend the other person, then you should just wait it out until everyone's like
Yeah.
calm and
I've
collected.
definitely learned to think twice about things, and that takes a long time to be able to control that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
um,
what are some things that you've learned to think deeply about before doing?
um, well, now no matter what I do, I definitely take longer to respond on things because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's age or the way I try to process stuff, but um, I run through things in my head like it's actually happening. So whatever amount of time that took is the amount of time you're waiting on the outside as you're viewing me. But I definitely give myself the time to do that.
And I think that's better because before it was always being irrational and then reacting and responding through the way that you're feeling,
Hmm.
right? So it's like you're in that very moment, you get triggered by something, you hear something, and then you just respond right away by like yelling or saying something offensive, right? So
Right.
it you kind of learn to just really think about what is happening and try to understand that your partner is there giving you feedback because they want to work on the relationship
Right.
and not so much of them attacking you or your character or telling you that you're
Right.
not
Right.
good at
Right.
something.
It's I would, if we have an issue, I would figure out how to say things without hurting you.
Yeah.
That's what it is,
Yeah,
you
you have to
know,
learn not to be an asshole.
because the fuck.
Yep. Well, because when you get so comfortable in a relationship or you've been together for so long, it's hard to not get irritated by the smallest things sometimes with each other. And then, you have to understand that even though you could be irritated or annoyed at something, you can't just like talk to your wife or your husband however way you want and expect them to receive it correctly or not be offended. You know what I mean?
You know what this episode sounds like?
What?
12 years of fighting. No,
Relationships are
so
not easy.
it's not
It's
12 years of
not.
fighting, guys. It's literally 12 years of communication and understanding each other as we evolve. And,
And we're
and
we're constantly learning about each other because as you grow and get older, you change as a person. You're not the same person that you were like a year ago, you know? So
right,
it's like trying to that's the hardest part because each person is evolving in the relationship, and then you have to try to like manage to keep up with each other and still be present with each other rather than like disconnecting and
right.
not sharing any interest.
Did you ever think that 12 years of marriage will look like this in our life? Like how we are now?
Mm,
I mean, in terms of like emotional, physical part of the relationship, I have no idea what that would look like because I could never imagine that uh, at the beginning of my life, you know. But in terms of like having kids and just where we are in life, like 12 years later together, I don't know. I could never picture any of this when I was younger.
yeah, I couldn't either. It was just very simple. Like, I don't know. Like,
Like, what do we expect when we're
I,
younger? And are we there?
I think we always knew we wanted to have kids. That was the one thing that we've always talked about, and being married, having our own place. Like, I did picture all of that, and knowing that's ever since I was a little girl, knowing that that's how my life wanted to be.
Hmm.
But I still like I envisioned myself still working in an office and just working for someone else and stuff. So if anything were different with the relationship, I would say it was this. Like I never thought I was gonna leave my corporate job ever.
Yeah.
That's why I worked so hard to get my degree so that I can be in an office.
So like one thing that we've done in our whole years of marriage is that um always trying to keep my wife close to me. So even if it's like there's that one path of together within the family and there's the other individual growth, and with that individual path I try to bring you with me and connect that as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's why we do this podcast together.
Right.
That's why we create content together. Whatever it is, it's always try to do everything together.
Yeah. Because I think even though this is work, right, for us, this is, yeah.
But I don't want to do it with anyone else.
I mean, who else are you going to have a podcast with talking about relationships?
I don't know. Like wouldn't it be a great podcast if it was with like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend?
Why would that be great?
I have no idea. I don't know. I was just saying, dude.
Are you trying to end this podcast with a divorce right now?
No, bro. I was just thinking how if that could ever be successful.
I'm not
and how
sure.
much
I
great
think it would
content
depend
would
on the
come out of that.
dynamic with the exes.
Yeah, I'm
that
talking
would
about
be
like
interesting.
someone that you would get along with now.
Oh, I don't know. Be kind of interesting.
No, I don't know. Thinking too much about that. I mean, so
Well, what I was trying to say was that even though this is work, this gives us time and actually has to push us to be able to be together.
what are you laughing about?
Sorry, our son is in the background just staring at us while we talk right now.
Hi, Enzo.
Okay, nothing's wrong.
That's what he
Okay.
said. Nothing's
How
wrong.
cute.
And this
Usually
guy
when
bounced.
the kids come to us, they're like, "Oh, I need help with this," or "The TV's not working," or "Can you help me put this on?" But he was just checking in on mom and dad.
And he said, nothing's wrong. And he bounced.
Yeah, but going back for the second time before I forget, even though this is work, this actually because it's work, it pushes us to be able to sit together and actually have conversations that we usually
Yeah.
don't have on our personal time, because when it's our actual personal time, we don't really have time to connect as much. Oh, thank you. You're the best.
Let's see. Married for 12 years, right?
Yeah.
And
Together
Kids-
for 2.
okay, yes.
Together for 2.
And we've had
Married
kids
for
for
10.
7 years. And for 7 years, we never really hired babysitters.
Yes.
So when we're talking about like doing things ourselves and being romantic and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that's one part that was a little bit more difficult for us because the last 7 years have been crazy with the kids.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel these last 7 years? Do you regret not ever hiring a babysitter, a nanny, or anything so we could do our own thing?
Yes and no, but for the most part, I would say no, just because I don't know, the world is so different now, and it's like
Because we're just talking about like, I don't know, 2 hours of peace.
true. Well, when it's our parents, I'm okay with it. Like I feel more comfortable with it, but when it comes to like hiring people off of a nanny website or whatever it is, like someone that I really don't know, even though they do background checks and things like that, like the world is such a scary place now that I
Right.
just can't. I don't want to leave the kids
So-
with just anyone.
I mean, our parents is more like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year. Right.
Well,
Now, normal marriage relationships, couples, whatever, they have babysitters nonstop. like,
Right.
every week.
yes.
Right.
And that's just a personal choice, I think, like because we have the option of being able to choose between the two. Like I'd rather just have them close, and I think you're the same way too.
Well, I feel the same way because of the danger of it.
Yeah.
And also because I'm not comfortable with someone in my house and stuff like that.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, I feel like,
Do you
it-
regret it?
do I
you know?
regret it?
Yeah, not hiring someone to watch the kids, just so we can do
Okay.
our own thing and to go on dates more and
I don't regret it, but I might have wanted to try harder so we could experience that for a few
yeah,
years.
like kind of actually looking into the process to see how it would
Yeah.
be to screen people and how trusting that they can be, right?
Yeah, I think it was worth a try to do that.
Yeah,
and
but-
we haven't done that in the last 7
But
years.
I also think that we did go through a pandemic at some point,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
got even more scared about
Okay,
it. If
yeah.
it wasn't for that, maybe I would have been more open to
That's
doing
true.
that.
We lost 4 years
We did.
because when we used to have, for example, like Joe was living with us,
Yes.
right, with Hannah, and they would say, "Hey, Hannah can babysit. Joe would love to," and this was during COVID, and we're like, "Oh no!" Like Joe's
we were
going
so
out.
scared. Yeah,
Joe's going out to film every week. He's going out, and like we got to stay away from him, and
Mm-hmm.
like that sucked, right? So actually, the the last 4 years have been horrible because of COVID.
We had offers of friends and families willing to watch the kids, but yeah, it was like I said,
Yeah,
it's
it
a
was
personal
COVID. I
choice.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
It was COVID. Um,
But I think with that too, it goes back to like challenges that you go through and then having to try to work around it. So it's like us always knowing that we should go on dates more. So I think now that the kids have been home all summer, we're like, okay, they're going to school in a month. We got to start doing things just the two of us while they're in school because that's the only time we're going to be able to.
we said that last year and we went out twice.
On their first day of school.
Twice. We went out like twice.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying too. Like I feel like I'm evolving as a person individually as well, and I'm understanding myself more. And we talked about this in our last episode, but yeah, just doing things more now where it can enrich our lives and make us happier as a couple. Because when we're happier as a couple, the kids can feel it, and it just builds a stronger bond and relationship and dynamic with the whole family when they can see
Yeah.
how our relationship is.
So what do you like about our 12-year marriage or being this far in?
I mean the commitment and dedication to be with each other for so long, and I guess not giving up, because there have been times where we both felt like giving up, right? But we still stuck through it. And
Yeah, now I can't picture being next to anybody else when I die and I have the cemetery and
I don't
you
even
got to
wanna
be
think
next
that
to me.
far ahead.
Yeah.
Do I have to? I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah, because our kids might not want to be with us.
That's true. And that's another important thing in your relationship is that there's always the debate, do you put your kids first or do you put your significant other first? And the real answer should be putting your significant other first, because when your kids get older, they're going to be on their own, they're going to have their own family, and then in the end it's the two of you.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
That's a good way
so
to put
so
it.
if you have a shitty marriage and relationship and the kids are gone, like how's it going to be, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're just going to be strangers in a house that are being roommates basically in a house.
Yeah, because you're no longer a partner because the kids are gone.
Exactly.
Oh.
Because you built that kind of marriage for so long and stopped trying. So when the kids are gone, where's the glue to hold you together?
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they're not going to be there to like help you.
That's
and
great
motivate you.
advice.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Any word of advice for people who just got married or, within 5 years?
I mean, just enjoy the journey, and I feel like that's always going to be my advice for everything. Just enjoy the experience, live in every moment that you can get, and try to stay true to your vows, right? Because being in a relationship, especially long term, gets very difficult and challenging. But if you work hard enough and you're loyal and dedicated to each other enough, like, you should be able to get through it.
I agree. Enjoy the moments and the experiences, but together.
Yes.
Enjoy them together. That's my advice for you guys. You would have a much happier 10 years, and more decades long if you guys enjoy the companionship together.
And even if you don't, sometimes it's okay, but don't stop trying. Like, things that you've done in the past, it helps if you still do it along the way. Don't forget about the simpler things in the beginning of your relationship that made you the happiest. And if you feel a certain way, speak about it. Yeah. Always have open communication about things. And remember, when you feel like an argument's about to happen, just remember that the other person, and hopefully this is the case for most marriages, but when someone is approaching you about how they feel about a certain thing, it's because they want to help work on the relationship. When they stop bringing up anything to you, that's when your relationship is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, happy 12 years of marriage to you.
Happy 12 years.
It's been a pleasure doing business
Nice
with
doing
you.
business with you, sir.
Yes, 12
sad.
years of marriage right here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Love and Rice podcast. If you guys are new, if you guys like this episode, please subscribe. Subscribe on all of them so you can support us. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, YouTube is a big one for us. and also Instagram and TikTok. So till next time, we'll see you on the next episode of Love and Rice.